Hey, welcome everybody to the Tech-Mex podcast. I'm your host, Eric Ramirez, and I've got my awesome co-host here, Mando Gomez.
The one and only, man. All right. Dale.
We're here with episode 19, number 19, and today we're going to be talking about some tech news, what happened with the Texas house, the Acapulco hurricane, and a little bit about the Dia de los Muertos. So we've got a jam-packed episode. Let's get to it. Dale.
Dale. First of all, for people that are not watching the show in YouTube, I love your share, man. Cabo Wabo. It's so fun to say. For everyone that haven't visited Cabo San Lucas in Mexico, there is a kind of a bar, right? I think there is a bar, and it's quite. It has like a between a bar and also has a stage, so it is fun. I recommend you. We're not endorsed by Cabo Wabo by any means, but yeah, it's a fun place, man.
The tequila's pretty good. Also, the Cabo Wabo tequila. Actually, this is where I didn't even get this in Cabo. You know, I was in Cabo maybe a couple years ago,
Sure.
but I went to a tequila tasting here in Houston. Highly recommend it. It was during Cinco de Mayo. I think there was just basically that they had a bunch of vendors set up, and you just go around and taste different tequilas. So it was really good, and they gave me this T-shirt, and I was like, man. The tequila was actually pretty good. It's by the Cabo Wabo club over there is actually by it's from a famous musician, right? So that's
Basically, if you go to their page, there was I think there was a rock star, which really like Cabo and just kind of create a whole brand, and it's like, hey, I'm going to just have this place, right? And that's basically kind of the place, Cabo Wabo. But yeah, we are derailing, man. Let's go into some of the news.
I was like, hey, we didn't even plan to talk about Cabo Wabo, but well, you know what? Since we're on Cabo Wabo, let's go ahead and talk about the Acapulco hurricane that was going on.
Yeah, man. I'll tell you this. That's what I like vacation, right? My vacation for me is like being on the beach, right? Sipping margaritas. So for me, and it actually has to be with a lot of people from Mexico City. They go to Acapulco because they created also a road to kind of a speed road to be able to just get in few hours. It used to take you in the old freeway. It used to be like maybe 6 hours, 6 to 7 hours, depending on the traffic. But after they built it, they probably built it like maybe, I'll say maybe 30 years ago. And they did like a little bit faster route. And now it's like 3 hours and a half. So it's almost like the half. So sometimes you can even just go in a weekend and come back, right? It's like for us, like type of a bit between Houston and Austin or San Antonio. So
yeah, or even like between Houston and Galveston, right? It's just an hour. So I can totally see that. I mean, that's one of the big things that drives me to get out there to Galveston and to the beach a lot. It's just because it's so close to us, and it's a nice escape there. But in terms of the Acapulco today, I mean, we're talking about the hurricane. So if you guys didn't know, there was a big Cat 5 storm hurricane that hit Acapulco earlier this week. So it was Hurricane Otis. The strange thing about this hurricane is that it intensified so quickly. Okay,
Very
went
quickly.
from like a tropical storm, and again, this is off of the Pacific coast side of Mexico, right? So it went from a tropical storm to a Category 5 hurricane. Again, this is like 5-6 levels up of a storm, from like 50 mile per hour winds to 165 mile per hour winds. It did that all within 24 hours. Now, for us, we know we're pretty familiar with hurricanes, right? We're from Houston area, so we're always monitoring this during hurricane season. So we know when storms are coming. You get plenty of like days advance notice, but
usually, many days,
usually you do. But in this case, it happened like within a day. So like everybody was caught by surprise and unprepared. So it's completely out of the blue. What have you seen about it, Mando?
I mean, bad pictures. We rented it. An apartment in Airbnb for several weeks in 2021 after COVID, when everybody was remote, and it's just beautiful. And we literally rented in the middle of the bay. It's kind of like Acapulco is like almost like a circular bay. So it's very pretty because you can see in both sides. And in the middle of the bay, there is a couple little islands, very small that you actually can swim to them. Anyways, my point here is that all of those pictures that I have seen on the news, it's like, man, it's like all that area, it was like floated. Water is already kind of clearing. Some areas is still stagnated, some of the water. But yeah, some of the buildings like glass and cars and some of the plants, yeah, they are pretty devastated. So I am curious to see. We have seen it with Galveston, right? Sometimes it takes a long time to be able to fix it up. So I'm curious, but all of that area is touristic, and there are hotels. So I'm hoping that it should be fast. But yeah, it's devastating.
Well, we know the Latino workers are, they can get a lot of stuff done quick. But if you haven't seen it, just do a quick search online or on TikTok. You'll see like it is pretty devastating. At least from what I've seen from the resort areas of the vacation areas. I mean, complete buildings are destroyed, and I'm talking about like the tall skyscraper resorts, ones that are 40 stories, 50 stories high, and like the complete sides are just like wiped away. So like you're in the building and you can see straight out. There aren't any walls surrounding it anymore. So like, and these are building after building that you see, and it's just like completely torn up and very, very like sad to see all that destruction that's going on. And I think there's even still some flooding that's going on too in the area.
Yeah. Well, remember, I mean, you are by the ocean, so people wanted to have the view. So a lot of it is made of glass, right, in order to see the nice views. But yeah, that's the problem with this type of events, that the glass it breaks with a lot of the pressure and the noise and the wind, and yeah, that's what happened. But I it has been 27 people killed on the whole situation. It is not a massive, right? Because sometimes you will hear, but still, that city is about maybe 1 million people. So uh, that's kind of the good news is only 27, right? But again, it's still devastating.
Yeah, it's a huge population, and to be able to, I mean, usually, like we mentioned here in Houston, we get plenty of advance notice, so we know when these storms are coming. But these storms are just not common in Acapulco. I think this is the strongest hurricane that's ever made landfall on the Pacific side of Mexico. So this is like not a normal thing. So when you think about in Houston, we build to be ready for hurricanes because we know they come very often. So all of our building regulations, stuff like that, we're made it so that we have the proper strength for that. But in Acapulco, if they don't normally get storms like this, they're just not going to be prepared, and the infrastructure is not going to be ready. And so I think that's why you see a lot of that destruction that you see. So we're praying for those people over there, making sure that they're all right and they're able to kind of recover and everything. It's just very unprecedented. Even the meteorologists are like, this is not something that we've ever seen, like a storm that goes from 0 to 5, like in such a short period amount of time. And we have all these supercomputers that are churning models, right? You've seen the spaghetti models and things like that where people are tracking where hurricanes are going. None of those models showed this. So it even didn't just fool the humans, it even fooled the supercomputers and the AI models on all that stuff that was out there. It was out of the blue, and it's very, very crazy to see something like that happen.
Yeah, I do have a very fond memories from Acapulco, right? Because even my childhood, we used to go very often, maybe twice a year, to Acapulco, and a lot of the people that is over there, they're living off tourists, right? And like there is tourism over there, so I hope that they can clean it up quickly, so that way, because that's how they make their money. So all of that town is just makes the money through to tourism.
Yeah, I have never been to Acapulco. I have thought about it recently because there's a big crypto conference that goes on there, I think yearly, and
Acapulco?
I thought, Yeah, in Acapulco, and I'm like, oh, that could be a fun one to go to, just because
We should go. Yeah, like
yeah,
I mean,
I think we should
I'm
check it out.
hands down.
Well, it may be a while till they have it set up again. Just depends
Yeah,
how quickly the folks over there can recover.
for sure.
But yeah, sad to see, but hopefully everything they get everything together soon.
Excellent. Let's talk about some of the news on Bitcoin, man. Talking about Bitcoin, dude, we just breached about 35K. So if you notice, for the year, I think that we doubled already.
Yeah,
100%, right? So we still obviously are not there where we were in the highs, right, on the 65-ish, but it's still going in that direction, which is great. So thoughts?
Yeah, exactly. So great point there on kind of where we are for the year. If you look from January, I think the low was maybe around 15, maybe it dipped into 14 in some exchanges, but yeah, it's over doubled at this point. So I think for the year, Bitcoin is outperforming pretty much everything. Of course, we're just two dudes on the internet. We're not financial advisors, but it's looking pretty good here for the year. Of course, we're still down from the 70K, but if a lot of that is expected, right? We've talked about the cycles. It goes up, it goes down. It's a 4-year cycle, and we're about to hit this next leg of our upward bullward cycle.
Yeah, and you might be wondering, why is this happening? Well, guess what? Our buddies from BlackRock, there was a rumor. We started with a fake tweet, basically saying the ETF that we actually have been talking about for the past couple months on the pod, that it was alive, which is not. What happened is that they have to do some paperwork to be able to put it in some of the NASDAQ and to be able to, but it's part of the whole process of being able to enroll. There is chances that also could be rejected, right? It's not 100% for real, but it's always progress, right? So, and I think that that's what a lot of the community is investing to, is making a bet that is almost happening. So hence, we see this nice increase.
Yeah, there was a lot of excitement around it. I mean, now the people in the know, they're saying, okay, it's like in the 90% chance of happening at this point. But I thought another thing that I noticed about this is, like, you know, in the listings where they showed like it, I think they call it IBTC, which is the BlackRock name that's going to be out there. They had all the others also started to be listed as well. So I mean, that's another indicator. Like, we had, you know, there were rumors that were saying that they're all going to get approved at the same time, all the different applications. Like, it's starting to look like that could be the case. So it's not going to just be BlackRock, but it's going to be some of these other companies.
Yeah, Fidelity and all of the big titans, right? Vanguard, probably, whatever. Right? So I think that also is sparking the news for the bull, right? The bull run. So just for those that are not very familiar, there are multiple animals that they call them for the stocks, right? Like, you have the bulls or you have the bears, right? And this has been all. If you go to New York, there is a bull in Wall Street, and it gives a reference to the prices going up, and basically, literally the bull and like the symbol to keep pushing, right, and going up. And you have the bears that usually is like moving you or like trying to push you away, right? Like with the claws. And also you have the pigs, the ones that they don't make money.
The ones that buy high, sell low.
That's right. They literally do the opposite that they're supposed to do, right? Like, and there is a saying in Wall Street, right? Bulls make money, bears make money, and but pigs get slaughtered. Yeah. So don't be a pig.
Don't be a pig. Yeah, that's true. And like they say, so you can make money while Bitcoin's going up, and you can make money while Bitcoin's going down. So in this case, like, there's people that are shorting Bitcoin, right? they're able to short it, or that have short positions, and they're basically making a bet that Bitcoin was going to go down. So at the time, I think Bitcoin was around between the 24 to 26K range or something like that, and people were calling for Bitcoin to go down to like another
17
level,
or 15,
17, 18K, something like that. But instead, it went the opposite way because of this fake news, the fake tweet that went out, and actually it caused like $325 million in liquidation. So people that had their bets for Bitcoin to be going down, they all got liquidated, and so now that's why there's a little bit more upward pressure, and we're still above 30, but not quite above 35 anymore. But it's still holding above the 200-week simple moving average.
Yeah, and I think that if it will be a sequence of events, if when this thing gets approved, as you say, a very high chance that it will happen. I'm more curious when they're gonna start incorporating into the baskets, like maybe the Nasdaq, where maybe a chunk, 2%, 3% of the Nasdaq is just crypto, which does literally almost a good portion of the whole stock market, right? So, which it will, a lot of the people that they are holding, hodlers, they are going to continue to keep it, right? A lot of these people, they don't want to sell it, right? So then that will mean that they have all of these and they have this demand. Guess what? Price, in my opinion, will continue to go up because hodlers are going to continue keep it, right? So we'll see the dynamic. And the price will tell us the story. So, but yeah, that was good news for Bitcoin.
For sure. And for those of y'all that are looking for a little bit of price prediction action here, I'm not that great at predicting it. Otherwise, I would already have
$1 million, baby.
$1 million. But, a lot of people are saying in this cycle, kind of conservative feel is 250K. A lot of people are saying 350 to 400K. And then some people are even saying because of this ETF and because of this, a lot of people investing, the big institutional players investing, it could hit $1 million in this cycle. So, I mean, that's a little bit out there, but still, that's kind of the range that people are seeing right now for predictions.
Quote me myself, which I think that is, if you see the previous cycles, it doubles the last high. So my number is 120. So we'll see. Obviously, I will not complain if it goes to 1 million. So I will be happily admit, I was wrong.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I'll take it. I'll take it at this point. So between 120 and 1 million, I know that's a big range, but you just don't know with the cycles. The cycles rhyme, but they're not always the same. So just keep that in mind. So pretty exciting things anyways here for Bitcoin specifically.
Yeah. And this is my guess is as good as any guess, right? So I think that it's like even the hurricanes, right? Like it's very similar where you try to have models and everything, and suddenly it just kind of like happens overnight, right? This fake tweet. So I think that is just a matter of trying to understand your own strategy. If like we have mentioned it before, usually a lot of the benefits come when you're waiting, right? It's silly to expect when you're putting a seed and it will just give you fruits next day, right? Similar here, just keep buying, maybe DCA, right? And at some point, maybe it's 1 million, maybe it's not.
Yeah, that's true. Well, we'll keep y'all updated, and maybe that's one of the things that we can do in a future episode is we look at what are some of the models out there that are being used to try and predict some of this Bitcoin. I know there's a lot of popular ones, and we can maybe cover some of those.
Sure. And obviously, because we always talk about Bitcoin and Tesla, there are also news about Tesla. So, Cybertruck, Eric, are you excited?
Woo, it's coming. So, if y'all haven't heard, there's an official kind of launch date now. It's November 30th for the Cybertruck. It's right around the corner. We got basically another month for it. So, I'm pretty excited about it. It's been a long time coming. I guess it's been, we're talking about from November 2019 to November of 2023. That's 4 years since the original announcement to actual first delivery. So pretty excited about that. What do you think, Mando?
I mean, I think that they are allowing people to come to their shareholders for a lottery. So maybe I also have some stocks there. So maybe I should be able to attend in person. Do you think that might happen in Austin, or do you know where it will happen?
I think it's going to be in Austin. So, yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, I also got some Tesla stocks. So, we need to go enter that lottery. Maybe we can make it in. I think they give you a +1. So, if I make it, I'll see if I can convince Sandra to take you. So we'll see. But yeah, that'll be a good plan. I'm going to see it, throw my hat in the ring, see if I can get an invitation to the event. I'm sure it'll be a lot of fun.
Yeah, the prices. I'm actually curious if they're gonna honor the 40K price, right? Which is not bad compared to the other trucks, man. Like I was looking like the Raptor is like 100K, right, for a Ford truck. Sorry, Ford.
Yeah.
I will redeem if you guys give us a sponsorship.
Oh yeah, okay. I'll get a Raptor too. Yeah, the Ford sponsorship.
but I think that that price is very decent, right? Like I think that hopefully we start seeing some of these prices start coming down. I don't know, because for me, if they're not like super like luxury cars, 100K doesn't resonate with me, right? But again, 40K, even 50K, solid price. We'll see what are the odds of that happening.
For sure. Well, here's the thing. So when they announced the 40K or the $39,900 truck, they said that was going to be the single motor. So like just the one motor. It's kind of their base model, right? At the initial announcement, they said there's going to be this base one, single motor. They said there would be a dual motor for an extra 10K. So basically 49.9K or 50,000. And then they said there would be a tri-motor,
for the
which would
100K.
then be, well, it would be an extra 20K on top of that. So it would be 69,900. But with inflation and everything over the years, some people, there's a rumor out there that the tri-motor or the three-motor one will actually be closer to 100K, or they're saying 98,900. So they're saying that is going to be the tri-motor cost, which would be basically a 30K increase in price from the 70K up to 100K. So that would be a big increase. That's almost a 50% increase in the price, right?
It will knock down. I mean, there is a lot of people. I believe the last time that I checked the list, it was like 5 million people waiting in the waiting list. I think that if it goes into that price, it will knock down a good portion because a lot of people, they're not paying on cash. Then they have loans. Then increase the loan, right? Like for 5 years, 6 years type of a loan, you're gonna have to pay. Depend on right now with 8% interest rate, so it will be like 2K type of it's like your mortgage, right?
Yeah, exactly. That's a bit goofy at that point, and so yeah, we're gonna see what's gonna happen with the reservations. I know with these latest rumors, a lot of people started canceling their reservation, which I think it's kind of funny at this point because it's like, well, okay, you got one more month to wait to find out what the pricing is. Why are you going to cancel your $100 reservation over rumors? Is kind of.
Is there a second market for the spots?
Actually, there is. So I was reading, and some people are selling their reservations for $10,000. So if you're interested, and I think also Tesla auctioned off the first Cybertruck for $400,000. So I mean, you're seeing some ranges here for what people are willing to pay. So, and another thing, actually, the $80,000 tax incentive, basically. So there's an incentive right now. If you buy an electric vehicle and it comes in under $80,000, you will get an instant $7,500 tax incentive when you buy it. So for an $80,000 truck, you'll only have to pay $72,500 for it. So, I mean, there's a little bit of incentive there for Tesla to keep the truck under that 80K price range. So I think a lot of people are just assuming the dual motor is going to fall under that 80K, and you might be able to get one for $72,500.
Okay. Excellent. So we'll stay tuned on the news for the Tesla Cybertruck. What else do we have on the news?
Yeah, so a lot of and I think we've said before we don't get too political on here, but this one just kind of struck a nerve with me. There's in Texas specifically, there was something passed. It's called the HB4 in the House only so far. Not it hasn't gone to Senate yet, but it's essentially it's like an anti-immigration law, which is like when you look into it from the high level, it's basically they're appropriating $1 billion. So that's a B with a B, $1 billion to continue to build the border barriers. We've seen a lot of people already die from that. They get stuck in these floating barriers that are in the river. I don't know if this is going towards that or the wall yet, or like a wall yet, but we've already seen that there's been a lot of people die from that. So they're contributing $1 billion there. Another piece that got passed was that they're going to allow police officers to send migrants back who they catch that cross the border illegally. And yeah, they cross the border illegally and they're going to be able to basically try to deport them. But there's some gotchas around with that. And the third thing that they're doing is they're going to increase penalties for what they're calling human smugglers and things like that. Now, I get it. There needs to be some rules and legal items around it, but in practicality, this has a very, very big impact to Hispanics in Texas. So much so that the state rep from Houston, State Rep Armando Lucio Wally, he's the Democratic representative here from Houston. He confronted the people that actually were working to pass this. He got very, very heated, and he started cussing a lot during this. He was saying, this really hurts us to our fucking core. This is a really bad thing, and that you don't understand that you don't live in our skin, right? And that's what pisses me off. And this is what he was saying. And he had a lot of this rhetoric out there because I think he's like, y'all are my friends, and you guys don't even care, don't know how this really impacts him, Wally, as a Hispanic, and all of us Hispanics that are in Texas. I mean, I myself I've been harassed and profiled for a lot of my life here in Houston, and in Houston, it's the Hispanics are a majority, so it's really
now we're more,
and now we're a majority, right? So imagine in other places where the Latinos aren't the majority, there's going to be a lot of harassment going on there too. And some of the examples that Representative Wally mentioned was like, hey man, I'm not going to be able to go to the bodas, I'm not going to be able to go to baptisms, I'm not going to be able to go to quinceañeras, because invariably there's going to be people there that are undocumented. So that puts him in these bad positions. And with these laws, you just don't know how they're going to be applied. People that are just driving a family member, they get pulled over, they can get into trouble. They can actually go to jail. There's jail time and fines included with that. So, I mean, this is a very, very difficult piece of legislation that's been passed. And I feel like Representative Wally was the only one that was really trying to stand up and trying to make people understand like how hurtful this is for the people that are living here in Texas and their family members. So it's a big deal. And I wanted to get that out there.
Yeah, it's very, very strong words on and you don't understand, you don't live in our own skin, right? Which I think that is kind of the profiling portion of it. And it's just almost giving permission to do this type of things. And guess what? They're humans and people have biases, right? And yeah, they are training cops to be able to not do it, but we have seen, right, that it is not happening. So it has to work in both ways. We get it. We have to have some organization, some rules, but allowing people to keep profiling, yeah, it's a tough one, right? So I'm kudos for that. It was a senator or what was a representative?
It's in the House. It's a Representative Wally. I actually have seen him in LULAC meetings before. So
okay, so I think that basically we have to voice the concern, right? And we'll see. I think that it becomes very tricky because guess what? I naturalize now. citizen here. So do I need to have my passport with me all the time? Because obviously even my accent, right? So, so it is tough, right? It's like, do you have to have all of your paperwork like just to prove that you're a citizen, right?
Yeah, exactly. You got to carry a copy of your birth certificate around. You just don't know how this is going to turn. But again, you're like weaponizing the police at this point. It can be seen that way. So we'll see how this turns out. And again, it still has to go through the Senate, so I'm not sure, but I think more than likely it's going to pass in the Senate. So yeah, this is very interesting news here. We'll see how this kind of transforms and how it impacts the lives of Latinos that are living here in Texas.
Yeah, for sure. But let's pass to another topic that is a little bit more fun instead of politics. Man, this is Dia de los Muertos, right? Or in the case, obviously we have Halloween, but there is a lot of things that covers that. But I want to cover Dia de los Muertos. So what do you know for the Dia de los Muertos? Do you celebrate it?
Isn't it like Halloween? Isn't that the same thing?
They actually, if you go to start doing kind of some of the research on Wikipedia and so on, they don't know where like truly there are debates. If because some of the even Hispanics people and people in Mexico, they felt that it's like pre-Hispanic. But it's actually a blend and a mix between between the Spanish and as well the pre-Hispanic, and it created kind of this tradition. And yeah, some of them they also it has to do with the celebration of the dead, and that's basically kind of what it means, the Day of the Dead. And there are a couple things that maybe people are not familiar right now. Is getting with some of the Disney movies and Pixar, like the Coco movie, right? That kind of shows some of the things that happen and some of the colorful things. But yeah, there are a couple things, and I wanted to discuss some of those. But I wanted to understand if you have done ofrendas in your house or other houses.
Yeah, so my mother-in-law has an ofrenda set up in her house. We don't have one right now. We have the calaveras and things like that set up inside. Like we have a nice table setting with some nice fancy calavera plates and things like that. We have a skeleton outside, but that's a little bit more like Halloween.
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah. Every year, there's like the little altar set up.
Yeah, usually the dates for Halloween is, I know, obviously in October 31st, but in some places, depending of, like in Mexico, they celebrate November 1st and 2nd. Sometimes it's for the different days, like celebration of for babies, right? Babies that they die, and some other ones for the rest. But in some places, it spans up to November 6th. And I think that this happens because a lot of it is like the moon, some of the moon phases and all of that. So, but obviously some people it's like hard to follow that. So then they just decided in certain days. But yeah, and you just leave the ofrenda, you start creating it. And usually the ofrenda is like an offer, like an altar to the people that they passed away. Here is the interesting thing that not a lot of people cannot know. Some of the Hispanic culture, it is very joyful, even for an event like a person that just passed away. And there are certain portion of the tradition, like in the altars, you put like food or beverage that they like it, right? That's kind of the a little more common things.
You're going to see pan dulce, Coke bottles on the altars or what?
Yes, you do. Like sometimes they...
Or cerveza.
Or cerveza, right? Like or my grandpa used to like this called Bimbo. There is a brand that is called... It's bread, right? It's like the bread, but it's called Bimbo. That's the name of the brand. It's not the blonde one. So... yeah, the brand is called Bimbo, and they acquire Wonder, like the Wonder Bread. Now that group owns that. Anyways, my grandpa used to like that, and yeah, if I can find it, I also put it on our ofrenda. And my wife, she does a fantastic job on kind of creating it, and that's not her culture, and she kind of loves the tradition, and now we are teaching to the kids. But yeah, I think that is I think that for me is partially for remembering them, right? Remembering what they like and kind of your ancestors, right? Because obviously it's part of the people around you, but sometimes it's also we have our dog, we love our dog, and also we are putting it there, right? A picture of our previous dog there, so. It's a beautiful tradition. We also use some kind of flowers, and it's the yellow one, right? So marigold.
Hmm.
Not sure. And it kind of gives a very good decoration. On top of that, there is the pan de los muertos, which is it's like almost orange bread with, and you can do it as well with some sugar on top of it. And in some places they split it in half and they put a nata, which is kind of like a very very interesting flavor, and yeah, it's pretty good. So again, it's part of the tradition. The other thing that maybe you have seen all over the place is the calaveras. Calavera stands for kind of the
The
skull,
skulls.
the skull. That's right. And they used to make it on sugar, like a sugar skull. It started like that, but now you see in all kinds, right? Like the whole, it just became like a sensation in a lot of places. But yeah, that's one of the things that a lot of people now have seen everywhere, right?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's one of those fun traditions. I think that's really unique to us, and I love getting the imagery of setting up a little table, a little area where you can remember the folks that have already passed. It's really meaningful, and there's a lot that goes into it, and there's a lot of fun. I know you mentioned that there's the calaveras literarias also, right? Tell us about
Mhm.
that.
That's something that not a lot of people know, and it's actually a mockery. I remember, and before we didn't have bullies, I guess. Right now, it will probably be appear to like you're bullying someone. But
Yeah.
I remember on a school that they asked us to have like a homework to create a calavera literaria. It's basically a letter to your classmate, and you can choose whoever. And literally, you can pick almost like any of their defects, right? Like somebody's having glasses or somebody's too dark or whatever it is, right? And then you mock the whole thing, but it is basically a poem. You're supposed to write it in a way of a poem. In that way, the whole point was to make people laugh, not to make them feel bad.
Mhm.
So even if you are like mocking somebody, is actually making it joyful for everyone that hears it and reads it, and you literally have to present it and read it out loud. So and that basically expands to classmates, and sometimes they do it on the news, right? And but yeah, that's something that is not very well known, and it's part of that the tradition, kind of mocking death, because that's the other thing that is happening. You are mocking the whole situation, right? Like you're not afraid of death. Death is part of being a human, right? And on this world, and I think that is just a very different perspective of other perspective. Other perspectives like be silent or be mourning or more just trying to die, right? And that's more the more traditional, right? But no, in ours is fun and party. I mean,
Any
another excuse.
excuse to like have some people together and have some fun. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So, well, yeah, that's one of the things that I don't think that a lot of people are familiar with it.
Yeah, no, I think that's a very cool. I don't think I've really heard of this these poems, the Calavera poems, but very very interesting. But I would say, you know what, growing up, I'm pretty sure all of my aunts and uncles practice this because man, they go at each other. They take out knees when they're poking fun at each other. I'm telling you, they're experts at it. I think it rubbed off on my brother too because I got a lot of that growing up
But
as
they
well.
have to be rhythmic, like almost like
Okay.
yeah, they have to have a rhythm to it. So they're hard to write.
Yeah.
Maybe
Like,
Maybe asking
eres
ChatGPT.
gordito, eres feíto, eres, I don't know, some other ito. How's it
Yeah.
go?
Yeah,
Okay.
exactly. So in that way, it takes time to devote it to create the poem. So maybe ChatGPT might be able to
I
write
know.
one for you.
Yeah, I wonder. ChatGPT probably knows Spanish too, I think. So
Yeah, he does. And it can write in many languages. Yeah.
well, I mean, this time of year is always a lot of fun. Dia de los Muertos. I mean, so if you've got a chance, I mean, get out there, support, go find a panaderia where you can get some pan de muerto and support the Hispanic cultures and the small businesses that are out there. I think that's pretty cool. If you want, put together your own ofrenda, your own altar in your home, and put some pictures up of your loved ones and your dog. I have a funny story. Like I saw on TikTok, I didn't know about the dog aspect, right? But they say also your pets come back to visit you also during Dia de los Muertos, and I think they said the first day is typically reserved for the pets, or that's when the pets end up coming. And I will tell you, I've got 2 Italian Greyhounds right now. My dogs were acting so weird yesterday. I think Fermi must have come back and started playing with them because they were causing a ruckus. They were all running around super hyper all day yesterday. I don't really know what was going on. And then I realized, it's probably my dead dog came to come play with my current dogs because they were doing all of his favorite things, like getting the toys and squeaking them and then doing the leg hump also. Those things are totally out of character for my current dogs, but there's some of the favorite things of my last dog, Fermi, that he used to do. So I'm pretty sure he came by to visit and say what's up.
You never know, man. You never know, but maybe.
All righty. Well,
cool.
I think we got a lot of stuff covered today. So if you like the content, be sure to like and subscribe, share with your friends, leave us some comments. It's only through this that we're able to continue to bring all this content that you love to hear. So, Mando, any closing thoughts for today?
No, make your friend and enjoy some of these festivities.
All right. Go ahead and y'all go do that and do it sin miedo. See y'all next time.
Sin miedo. Yeah.
Bye.